Hey, welcome back to Happy Little No Trees. I'm your host, Greg, and I'm just hanging out today. I just thought I'd take a second to talk to you about my tools. So the thing about it is, if it's the end of the year, but if you're still feeling thrifty and want to do some, I don't know, buy something, uh, I have a tool subscription kind of thing on the website. There's a link in the description. I have a lot of tools that I've either made available for free, but then I also have some that are you just pay for future updates pretty much. It's $47.34, but you get access to all of my tools to play in my toolbox, like the Technicolor 3 strip, which is what we're playing with today. And be sure to check that out. The link in the description. It's all the tool pages kind of have that. And it'll take you to a membership backend thing where all of my tools are available. And then, you can download all of them, cancel the subscription, or, it's one annual. So next year, maybe, you just re-up and get access to new tools as well as updates to tools. But anyways, today we're talking about Technicolor 3 strip. I have been playing around with this image for a long time. This is one of my things, but I also just brought over. I know it says demo. I had to update that again. I have to work on doing an update to Technicolor. I'm trying to find some bugs, trying to find some things that I don't like. But I don't know if it's been a while. But yeah, we're kind of currently just picking between, do you like electric blue or do you like cyan? So let me fix controls, vertical scenes. Gotta fix this because it's not doing that right. Pure magenta fuchsia. That's not true magenta. Pure magenta fuchsia. That was sneeze. But anyways, true yellow. This one is interesting. But the problem is it doesn't sit well unless you have like electric blue and pure yellow or saffron yellow. Kind of brings it back around. You got to find the right rotation of your colors. When you think about on the color wheel, where this is, if this drifts this way, then yellow needs to drift a little bit more towards a saffron yellow. So as you get more bluish magenta, you need more orangish yellow to make sure that you have a good color palette, because that's what's happening here. Saffron yellow, if we go down to diagnostics, you can see the yellow is kind of just hanging out over here. And then we have magenta, which is up over there. So you kind of want to keep them somewhat balanced in terms of their positioning. And you can see there's that nice curve that's going on, and that's generally what you want. And that's coming from, in a lot of that is coming from in here, where we're just stealing around how it's bending those dark colors, how as you add more dye to a thicker layer, the image, it looks different than if you just add dye to the middle. So we're just kind of tweaking and changing how that looks with these controls in here, and just kind of rotating that around. They all kind of have that same rotation. We're doing this on the level that, if we look at the linear ramps, you can see we're looking at all of them now. That hue shift is happening it together. We're controlling them all at the same time, and just kind of just tweaking and kind of bending it. But you got to kind of find things that work together. Kind of just tweak to get that deep richness of color down at the bottom. And it's at what point? You can go in and tweak these individually as well. That is, so you can really get some deep blues coming in here. Very nice. This is one of the things that I really like to do. This is a very cathartic exercise. It's very Bob Rossian in a sense, because you're just like trying to think, what should this color look like as we drift along the spectrum scale. Like if you keep with the same marker over and over, it's going to get darker the thicker that ink gets, and it can get darker in a unique way. It isn't a straight line. Um, and so then you can come back and see how that affected your image. And you can, with this, you can turn this on and off and see how this individual control affected that. But look how it added so much depth and levity to the image. And the same thing going with the white pull, where if we're looking at those wraps again, and we can see how this is more affecting, if we're looking at the scopes here, it's affecting this lower end range as we get pulled towards white, as the density gets thinner, how the colors are bleeding. Like, so you got to imagine in this linear ramp system that we're looking at, like if you just did a heavy press of your marker on one end and then slowly took the pressure off on the other end of the paper, what does that ink look like? And so you have this control here where you can, as you get white pull, you can be like, oh, it's getting wider. Like just imagine the marker, you pulled the marker off faster. And how is that making the image look? So you can get this inverted rotation, which isn't going to look good on your image. Uh-oh, the baby monitor is going off. I mean, it can. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. Like, we can kind of do this white hue rotation and just kind of invert everything. And now everything's coming around green as it gets brighter. And that can be really unique. We can go turn it off, cyan high density just gives us that. Blue has this really impactful when it's layered up. That these other colors, we can do this. We can also kind of just tweak how the magenta is working. Go back the opposite way. Push into it, push out of it. But it is really just trying to find, and you're building your entire look so that when you look at your ramp, we can see the ramp. You can see how this is working. So the gray stripe is all the black, yellow, magenta, and cyan all stacked up. And yeah, there's these nice huge shifts and rotations that are going on as we kind of just fiddle fart and kind of push, undo. This is undoing this white hue shift. So the cyan and yellow have this strong inverted hue shift on the high end, whereas now the magenta does not. And that is having an impact on how the image forms. So we're going to end up with more of that bluish color in our highlights. Projected light, currently we're just running just pure white, but I like to come in and do custom and just make, just sometimes at this point, like, you can kind of do some fun things with changing how this works and just off center it slightly. Oops, wrong button. And you just get some really cool effects. And then it's just increase the contrast if you're not feeling how the contrast is working. And this is your pivot offset adjustment right here to our image. Exposure. Yeah. We're looking for the skin to be a little bit on the darker side if we're going for a true Technicolor. Like if we're looking at our scopes, you can't see it here. Let's see if I just try this out. You can see we're wanting her as a subject to be on the darker side. You'll notice that if you ever analyze a lot of Technicolor shots, that tends to be where it's at. You can do it here and drive that in spots. But yeah, that's kind of just talking about the Technicolor DRT. It's a lot of fun in terms of how it creates the image and works the image. So it is one of those tools, like I mentioned at the outset. You can get access to that. Unfortunately, it's an OFX, so it only works on Apple computers. But out of all the DRT tools I've made, this is probably the one that I can probably get to be a DCTL quickest. It's just a ton of controls, a lot of things all over the place. Um, so until next time, hope you have a happy little notary day, and hopefully, maybe you want to check this tool out. There's a demo on the website, links in the description. But this is how I do Technicolor DRT now. I should turn it off.